Thanks everyone for joining us again as we continue our educational video series for the 2023 football season. This has been week 8 here in North Carolina. And in our educational video series, we look to improve our knowledge of the rules, skills, mechanics, and so forth so we can improve every week at officiating our football games. Let's get into our first play. So to get in our first play, we're going to talk about pre-snap fouls, but let's just set the scenario in this play. So we have a 13-6 ball game with the defensive team winning. It's late in the game. It's late in the fourth quarter. We have a fourth down play where we have 4th and 1, maybe 2 yards on this particular play. So this is a real important play in this game because of the circumstances. And not that we wouldn't call this in a game where it's not a close game, but this is just to set the scenario in this particular situation. And so we're going to talk about what the offensive lineman here does on this play, as we will see. And so this is something that we need to get, and you'll see how important it is. So we're going to look at that offensive lineman right there. His hands down. He's in his 3-point stance. So he's set. He's covered up by the outside. And look, he picks his hand up and looks to the back. This should be a dead ball foul. And you can see the coach coming down. He recognizes it. He wants the foul. And we don't get it on this particular play. And in this particular situation, as you can see, they end up getting the first down here. So this is why it's really important that we pick up these, pre-snap fouls on these plays, because this really made a difference on this particular play because of the outcome. And, if we get this penalty here, they would mark off 5 yards. And so instead of being 4th and short, it would be a 4th and long situation, is what changes, potentially the outcome of this game and so forth. But again, another thing here, we also need to, on 4th down, we need the officials be stopping the clock, especially the wings. Come in hard, stop the clock, because it's going to stop either way. As you can see, the first down here was obtained. Next play here, we're going to look at it live, as the officials would see it in the game. And then we're going to come back and break this play down a little bit. As you can see, this is a big gain for the offense on this play. So as we come back to this play, though, we're going to take a closer look at it. We're going to see the line of scrimmage is right there at the 41-yard line. And this is really important. This play illustrates how important it is for the head linesman and line judge to stay on those lines of scrimmage, not get pulled downfield too far, to be able to effectively rule on this type of play. And as you can see, the ball's out. We have a lineman who's approaching 3, maybe 3.5 yards down beyond the line of scrimmage here. So the location of where this receiver possesses or catches this ball is important. If it's behind the line of scrimmage, obviously we'd have no foul. If the receiver catches the ball beyond the line of scrimmage, then we have ineligible, the lineman downfield, ineligible downfield. As you can see, the line judge is in great position, standing right on the line of scrimmage to be able to see when he determines this receiver catches the ball. And then you can see the flag come out here. We have a flag because we have that lineman downfield beyond the 2-yard line. This is a great job here. And this, you can only get this type of play is if you stay in position, if you don't get drawn down the field too far, and be in position to be able to rule in that line of scrimmage. Because if you're downfield 5, 6, 7 yards, you would not be able to see this call or make this call. It'd be very challenging. Next 2 plays, we're going to take a look at illegal formations with 5 backs in the backfield. And so we need to be looking for this in both wings on these types of plays. We should have two flags thrown, both by the line judge and the head linesman on these plays. And, sometimes we can take a look at that wideout and maybe, count them on. But in these 2 plays, it is quite obviously that, they have 5 in the backfield clearly, and there's very little room to be able to say, oh, he was on the line of scrimmage. And you can see the distance here that we clearly have 5 in the backfield. So again, both the wings need to communicate on this, and we should be communicating across the field that both the line judge and head linesman will be throwing their flags on these plays. Play here, we're going to talk about positioning at the goal line, but specifically the focus of safety of the wing officials. And in this play, this is the safety of the line judges. As the play develops here, we have the goal line involved. So yes, you can see the line judge on the goal line, and yes, we want the line judge on that goal line, but not in front of the pylon. You need to be behind the pylon. So good positioning on the goal line, bad positioning being in front of the pylon. Your safety's in jeopardy here, and as you can see, the line just has to move out of the way, move upfield away from it. So what do you do on these particular plays? Well, you get to the goal line, but you want that pylon in front of you. So you have to get back 2, 3, 4, whatever distance you can get back on these plays, move back to those depths. Move the ball people or the people running the chains or whatever back. It is important for your safety. If you have to be several yards off that pylon and on that goal line for your safety, then that's where you need to position yourself. And that is fine on these plays because we want the goal line covered, but we do not want to put our wing officials' safety in jeopardy. Next play here, we have a pass play that involves the back of the end zone and involves whether this is a catch, no catch, was the receiver inbounds, out of bounds. But the real focus here we want to talk about is communication between officials and specifically the communication here between a back judge and a wing official, in this case, the line judge. You can see the back judge go up with a touchdown signal, and then you can see the line judge coming in with an incomplete, and then we have a conversation. So how do we handle this type of play? Well, when we have plays like this, we have two officials, so we have two sets of eyes on this, and we want to communicate prior to giving any type of signal on these types of plays. Those two officials, if it's two officials or maybe three officials, whatever number of officials, have a good look at this. In this case, we have two officials. We want to communicate prior to any signal and then give the signal so that we don't have to go backwards on a touchdown signal. Keep that in mind. Communication is important. Into our next couple of plays, we're going to talk about off ball or dead ball officiating. Here we have a play, and just a little note, umpires here, wait a second for getting the ball. Go ahead and watch your linemen, and this goes for any official. Watch your players in your area until they're done playing, because just because we blow our whistle doesn't mean they're done playing. Stay with our players an extra second or two longer, and then we can go from there to get the ball or whatever other administrative duties we need to do. This play here is a great example. You'll see two players come into the backfield blocking each other, and you'll see the referee do a great job. The ball's, 5 yards, 8 yards downfield here where the arrow is, and you can see inside the goal. You see the referee, but on the farther from the referee, you can see two players engaging, and you can see the referee start towards them, maybe indicating for them to stop or whatever, but you see a great job of the referee picking that up, being able to see that type of action. This next play, we're going to take a look at it from two different angles and two different camera angles. And we're going to talk about this is a dead ball situation. So this is off ball and dead ball combined right here. And so we have a flag on the play. And we look over here, we see those two players, that action down there around the 48-yard line with the defensive back and the wide receiver. And we've got a head linesman over there who turns quickly. Really need to be watching the players here. And the back judge can help out with that. But instead of turning to the sideline, let's make sure the players are done with their actions before we turn away from the field of play, because things like this can cause us problems. And we want to avoid that. So keep our eyes on the field a little bit longer, and it will help us to avoid things escalating to a level where we have other issues that we will need to address on these types of plays. Let's play. We have a field goal attempt here that's being kicked from the 39. And what happens here is the field goal attempt is blocked and the ball bounces towards our way and comes up around the 50. And we're going to lose sight of them on the camera as the ball's still loose. And so as we can see the ball loose there around the 48 and see players diving on it. So at this point in time, we have a loose ball and we have to determine possession. So once it's safe, the officials need to come in, and let's remember our stop the clock signal. We need to give that signal here. We have three officials in view. The far official, the headlines, is obviously telling the chain crew to stay put, which is a good job. Good job there. But our officials need to be giving the stop the clock signal as we sort this out. We don't want it to be taking time off the clock or letting the clock run when we're trying to sort this, out of who has possession and what are the results. Especially if we have a situation where this is an important situation. Let's say this was a late game field goal attempt or something where time was of the utmost importance. So just keep that in mind. We need to stop the clock, discuss it, get it right, and then make a decision and move from there. Our next two plays we're going to look at here involve the same foul which is blocking below the waist by a defensive player. On our first play here, we're going to have a snap that goes to number 23 here, the running back. And you can see right here inside the gold circle, 23 has the ball. But on the other side of the defense, number 14 is a linebacker. And you can see how low he goes to take out that blocker. He takes out the blocker, gets down on one knee, crouches down very low, hitting him approximately near the knees and taking him out. And this is blocking below the waist on the defensive player. And remember, blocking below the waist is a 15-yard penalty. And this is a safety foul, safety issue, because this can lead to potential injury for a player. So let's be aware of blocking below the waist. And in this case, it's defense, but offense or defense, let's be aware of it. And we want to be observant for these types of blocks. And if the defense is committing this foul, we want to be ready for it. Here again, we have number 14 in the linebacker position. His block is not immediate. He's not in position to be legally allowed to block below the waist. But here again, he goes down, taking out this blocker. You can see the blocker basically rolls over the top of him. He gets so low on him, blocking below the waist, going down and committing an illegal block below the waist. And so, as officials, we need to be prepared to see this and so that we can appropriately penalize it. Because, again, as we've said, this is a safety foul, and we want to avoid missing safety fouls from these types of plays that can lead to another player's injury because of the foul. Play here we're going to take a look at is a good play to talk about and look at just to refresh ourselves, because so we have a legal formation here. We have 4 in the backfield, number 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then on the line of scrimmage, we actually have 7 players. On the line of scrimmage, we have 5, numbered 50 through 79, up on the offensive line. And then we have these 2 receivers out here. Now, the widest player is eligible, but he's covering up the inside receiver, which makes the inside receiver ineligible to go downfield to receive a pass, or ineligible to go downfield for a pass play. So we need to know where that player goes. If we have a pass play that crosses the line of scrimmage, that's where that will come into play. So as we watch this play, we're going to focus on the ineligible receiver right here inside the gold circle. And then we'll also be focusing on the eligible receiver on the end of the line here. And what does the eligible receiver inside the gold circle do? And this is going to determine the results of this play, whether there's a penalty or not. And we can see right here, the ineligible receiver actually backs off the line of scrimmage and goes into the backfield. So he is not downfield past the line of scrimmage. We have a forward pass that goes beyond the line of scrimmage, and we do have a flag by the line judge. If we called ineligible downfield on this play, that is incorrect call. I don't know what was called, but this is a legal pass play as far as that's concerned, as far as an ineligible downfield. Final player we're going to take a look at this week is the offensive lineman on the end of the line here, our tackle inside the gold circle. And we're going to look at the block he puts on the defensive player. And it looks like from this angle and from this distance that he may grab and pull him down. He may pull him down to the ground. You may agree with that or disagree with that, but it looks like he pulls him down. So let's keep a look out for this, make sure that that block is legal and that they're not grabbing the shoulder pads or something, or the jersey, and pulling that player down to the ground. Just something to be aware of out there when we're watching these plays. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this week and viewing this week's educational video for our officials out there, so that we can improve on our football officiating skills. Until next week, have a great week. Stay safe, and I hope to see you back next week again to view next week's video. Thank you very much. Take care.